My stepmother always treated her kids better, until my father finally learned the truth. My name is Noah, and for most of my childhood, I believed having a complete family was something I should be grateful for. After my mother passed away when I was 8 years old, my father, David, spent years raising me alone. He was my biggest supporter and always promised that nothing would ever change the bond between us. However, that changed when he married my stepmother, Rachel. At first, I was happy for my father because I wanted him to find love again. Rachel seemed kind when we first met, and she told me she would treat me like her own son. I wanted to believe her, but over time I noticed her words didn't match her actions. Rachel had 2 children from her previous marriage, Sophie and Owen, and slowly I realized they always came first, while I was expected to understand and adjust from the beginning. The differences were small, but they happened often. When Sophie needed help with school projects, Rachel would spend hours helping her, but when I asked for help, she said I was old enough to handle things myself. When Owen wanted expensive sports equipment, my father bought it immediately, but when I asked for something important, Rachel convinced him that I didn't really need it. I tried telling my father how I felt, but every time Rachel acted surprised and said I was misunderstanding her. She told him that she loved all the children equally, and my father believed her because he wanted our family to work. I didn't want to create problems, so I stayed quiet and focused on becoming independent. Years passed, and I learned to stop expecting the same care from Rachel that she gave her own children. But deep inside, I still hoped my father would notice one day. Moment everything changed happened when I was accepted into my dream university. I was excited because I had worked hard to achieve it. I couldn't wait to tell my family. But when I shared the news, Rachel changed the conversation to Sophie's upcoming vacation plans. She smiled and said that was nice, but then spent the rest of dinner discussing her children's activities. I pretended it didn't. Father noticed my silence. After dinner, he asked if something was wrong, and for the first time I told him everything. I explained how I had felt invisible for years and how I avoided conflict because I didn't want to hurt him. My father looked shocked and said he never realized I felt that way. He promised to pay more attention, but I didn't know if he truly understood until the truth finally came out. Rachel accidentally sent my father a message meant for her sister. In the message, she complained that she had to spend money on me and said she only acted like she cared because she wanted to keep my father happy. My father was devastated. He couldn't believe the person he trusted had been pretending all these years. When he confronted Rachel, she tried explaining that she didn't mean it and was only frustrated. But the damage was done. My father finally saw what I had experienced for years. He apologized to me and admitted that he ignored the signs because he wanted to believe everything was perfect. He said he was sorry for allowing me to feel like a guest in my own home. Rachel apologized as well, but I knew forgiveness would take time. I didn't hate her. I just wish she had been honest from the beginning. After that day, my father worked hard to rebuild our relationship. He spent more time with me and made sure I knew I mattered. He also became more aware of how Rachel treated me and set boundaries that should have existed long ago. Sophie and Owen eventually understood the situation and admitted they never realized how differently their mother treated me. Over time, our family became more honest, and while things were not perfect, we finally stopped pretending. Looking back, I learned that family is not only about sharing a home or a last name, it's about making people feel valued and loved. Sometimes the truth hurts, but it can also be the beginning of healing. My father didn't discover the truth because someone told him. He discovered it because the lies became impossible to hide, and that changed everything.